Moment lens versus moment lens versus moment lens. Let's get into it. If you've seen our first look video on the Moment Anamorphic lens, then you know that right off the bat we noticed distortion. Not a big deal, not completely unexpected, but it got us thinking, how does that compare to their other lenses? So we set up a shootout to find out. We reached out to some well-known indie film directors we know for an interview, and no one showed up. All right, so the gear we're using, the Moment Superfish, the wide, and the anamorphic lens. An iPhone 8 Plus, a FiLMiC Pro. We shot in the studio and we used Kineflows for the background. We used a very cool little aperture LED spotlight. And a brand new Falconized LED soft light that we're actually doing a review on that'll be coming soon. And our favorite shotgun mic, the Rode NTG 4 Plus. Audio was very important in this interview. Okay, so setup one. Everything we're going to show here is going to be compared to the standard iPhone lens. This is the wide lens on an iPhone 8 Plus. Now we're going to the anamorphic. This is the squeezed look right out of the camera, and now it's de-squeezed. We de-squeezed this in post-production. But I prefer to shoot with the image already de-squeezed in camera, which is a setting in FiLMiC Pro, so I went back and did that. So the anamorphic footage here looks nice. You can see the distortion a little bit in the light stand there. Again, not unexpected in a wide lens like this. So now we'll go to the wide lens, the 18mm Moment lens. Now this was unexpected. There is no distortion in this lens whatsoever. Now to the Superfish. This lens is super wide, as expected, and of course has lots of distortion. It's a fisheye, a specialty lens, and looks great. So now let's compare these images back to back. Standard lens, anamorphic, wide lens, Superfish. Now here's side by side, all compared to the standard iPhone lens. The wide lens and the anamorphic have a very similar width shot. One thing you'll notice in the anamorphic is the coating on the lens is slightly different than the others. It gives it a little more of a warm tint. I should have mentioned at the beginning, none of this footage has been touched. It's straight out of the camera. It was shot 4K, 24 frames per second, using FiLMiC Pro Natural Color Profile. Interestingly, the distortion on the anamorphic looks closer to the Superfish, since the wide doesn't have any distortion, but the width of the shot is closer to the wide lens. All right, setup number 2 here. Same setup, we just moved the camera closer. It's now roughly 3 feet, just under 3 feet from the bear. Wanted to have a more traditional looking interview shot where you didn't have all the gear in there. Although that's not exactly how it worked out because of the width of these lenses. So here's the standard iPhone lens, and that's probably the lens you would use if you were really shooting this interview. So here's the anamorphic. You can see the slight distortion there on the left side with the light stand and a little bit of the yellow tint. Again, not bad at all. Now here's the 18mm wide lens. Again, to me, the biggest surprise, no distortion whatsoever. We've shot with this lens before, but just really never noticed it. And now the Superfish. Again, a fisheye lens. Distortion is expected and looks cool. So the direct comparisons with this setup. Here's the standard lens against the anamorphic, and the wide, and the Superfish, and the side-by-side, all compared to the standard lens. Now a little closer side-by-side, the standard lens to the anamorphic. Now the wide lens to the anamorphic. You'll notice with the wipe, the bear is pretty much in the same spot. The width of this lens is very similar. And now the fisheye, the widest of them all, of course, and with the most distortion. So starting with the standard lens on the iPhone, you get this look. It's just a normal lens, normal look. Then the Moment wide lens is probably twice the width of the iPhone lens. It's a great wide lens. This may be my favorite lens that Moment offers, by the way, and there's no distortion. Now here's the Superfish. This is a really fun lens. It's more of an effects kind of lens, a specialty lens. And now the anamorphic. Squeezed and then de-squeezed in post-production. There is a little bit of distortion. It's not terrible, and it's actually expected a little bit in a lens like this. The coating does make the image a little warmer. That's easily fixed in post-production. It's just something we found in this test. And by the way, going back to our first look video, if you wanted to get rid of this distortion, just use the tele lens on the camera and move the anamorphic lens to the tele lens, and then you have no distortion. One last thing, this comparison more than likely makes you think of how does this lens compare to other anamorphic lenses. And so yes, this video is coming soon. Moondog Labs versus Moment. Here's a quick preview of some of the test footage we're working on for that video. This is back-to-back shots using the two different lenses. They're very similar. There are some differences, and there's some characteristics of each lens that are different. So if you're not subscribed to our channel, be sure to do that so you won't miss this upcoming video. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video.